Intelligent people do not assume to know what will make them truly happy. We can't just assume that we know what is going to make us happy. We can't just assume that getting that job or signing that client or dating that person or getting married or moving to that place or looking that way is going to be it. At one point, Christmas made a lot of us more happy than it does now. At one point, a birthday party made us feel a lot more happy than it does now. If money made you happy when you were broke, the same amount of money is not going to make you happy when you're rich. Emotionally intelligent people do not assume being fearful is a sign that they are on the wrong path. A sign that you're on the wrong path is indifference. If you are fearful about something, that is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. You're being pushed towards something. That's intention. Who knows if it always will be the right thing? What we do know is that you're on the right path. It might not lead to exactly where you want, but you're going into a direction you know you need to go into. They know that happiness is a choice, but do not feel they need to make that choice all the time. Happiness is not a sustained state of joy. Being happy is moment by moment. If you were only experiencing one emotion all the time, then that's not living. You're not living. You're just in existence. Living the human experience means that you experience all the emotions. And you should allow yourself to say, I'm not in a happy state right now. Emotionally intelligent people know that a feeling will not kill them. You're not going to die because you're angry. You're only going to die if you start doing stupid things because you're angry. Emotionally intelligent people do not confuse a bad feeling for a bad life. When you fight the bad feeling, when you fight the bad day, that is anything but peaceful. If you just come to grips with this is just not a good day for me. It's not my day. I got bad news. I lost a client. Somebody hit the back of my car on the way to the gym, and I just want to go home, go to sleep, and start this one over tomorrow. That's part of life. If I'm fighting against that bad day, if I'm fighting against that bad feeling, I'm causing war within myself. You're able to have peace when you just accept it. This is a bad stretch of life, or this is a bad day, or this is a bad week. These are bad feelings. But this doesn't make it a bad life.
And we are live.
Live and alive. Olia, come in. Olia, come in this morning. Good morning. What's up, C? How you doing?
Here, surviving.
Surviving, Melissa?
Yeah, it's gray. It's gray right now. Just got news that, and the winds are picking up. We just got news that it's now a Category 5 hurricane. So that should be fun.
Excuse me. It was a category 5, then it went down to 4, and now it's back to 5.
No, it was a 3, then it went to 4, and now it's 5.
Okay, gotcha. I thought it was already 5 for some reason.
Well, maybe you guys got that news, but I'm only just hearing that it's been 5 for the first time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Hold on to your hats.
I see a lot of tourists on TikTok doing videos at the Grand Palladium Hotel, Royalton, and all of those stuff, saying that, oh, we're so scared. Or there's this one lady that I just saw her video this morning. I guess she's on a villa, and most of the videos she was posting, she was like, oh yeah, this is her standing in like the center of a room that's just surrounded by glass, and she's like, yeah, the people say that it's all safe, these are all hurricane whatever glass. That's literally what she said. And somebody was saying that's the equivalent of saying you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But so I commented and I say she should be concerned and those windows should be boarded up and secured. But it's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now though. The entire island's on high alert.
Yeah, I don't know if like you guys have had this type of hurricane in a while, right?
Well, the last one that devastated Jamaica was what's it called? Hurricane Gilbert. That one,
What year was that?
airplanes were in the trees and stuff like that. They said this one is set to be the way stronger than Hurricane Gilbert, and it's supposed to be the strongest in the entire history of hurricanes for Jamaica.
What year was Gilbert?
I don't remember. I know I wasn't born.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Um,
I heard that they're already shut down the airport. Is that true?
1988. Yeah.
Okay. I heard they
Oh
already
yeah.
shut the
So
airport.
so I saw people making videos about that too, saying, "Oh, if if anybody can help us, the airports are completely closed down. We can't get any flights. If anybody can, it doesn't matter where, we can go anywhere in the U.S." Like there's people saying that.
So what about people who are on vacation there? They can't leave?
No, they can't.
Wow.
Yeah, everything is on lockdown, complete lockdown. We can't take any chances because even my parents seem concerned.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens if you guys hear from me in the next few days. The power is out already. I can hear my sister. She just turned on the generator for her house because we live on a big compound. So she just turned on the generator, which means
Power's already out.
Yep,
Is it gray?
very. And the winds are starting to pick up. And you know what? I was giving praise because, like, yes, it's hitting it's hitting Kingston. It's not coming to our side, but it's making the turn right at our side, so we're getting the full force of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hope y'all built your house good.
I wish
Built
I
it
had
on
some kites.
I understand. Pardon?
I wish I had some kites.
Hopefully your house doesn't turn into a kite.
Oh gosh. No, it's Wizard of Oz.
Well, God bless. I'll be praying for y'all. Trust everything will be all right. But stay safe. Don't go outside. I know it sounds weird, but don't go outside because a lot of people that's how they don't take it seriously, and then they go outside, and yeah, don't go outside.
Yeah, luckily we're not in flood prone air. This Our house is in a flood prone area, not even landslides, so we should be good. But it's just how it holds up to like those winds, man. It wasn't phased by the last hurricane we had, which was Hurricane Beryl, which I think was Category 3. But who knows what will happen with Category 5. That one's like it's like the difference between being hit with a car or a bus. The Category 4 is a car and Category 5 is a bus. So we'll
Right.
see.
Absolutely. All right. I want to say good morning to everybody. Good morning, Mookie B. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Selma. Good morning, OG. Yeah. Good morning, Win Column Team. Good morning, Conversations with Jay. Good morning, Codex. Good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. And if you are tuning in and you're around that hurricane, just stay safe. Please take it seriously. Excuse me, and stay indoors. Stay indoors. Take it seriously. That when you don't take things seriously, it's the number one cause of these accidents happening. All right. So, but shout out to everybody in the Caribbean, especially that's in the path of this hurricane. All right. You want to know what I was reading this morning? See,
Sure.
I was reading again The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up. Do you know how many times I've bought this book, guys? I've bought this book. I couldn't even tell you how many times. A lot of times. I bought this book a lot of times because I buy it for my clients a lot as a gift. And so if you guys haven't read this book, it's one of my most highly recommended books to read. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F by Madsen. Forgot his first name. But Mark Madsen. That's the name. This part of the book that I was reading was talking about the value of suffering. And it's not what you think. It's not like, oh, wow, we should be happy to suffer. There's good lessons in it, and it's all learning lessons and stuff like that. It's not what you think. It's more talking about the way we use suffering. So one of the things I wrote down is that suffering is unavoidable. That's one of the things he gets into in this book, that suffering is unavoidable. I had a video, actually, it's a short on this channel as well, where I go into the fact that, the pain is going to happen. The struggle is going to happen, but the pain is optional. When we talk about suffering, you can interchange that with the struggle. The struggle happens. This is life, right? So you're going to have times where you go through your seasons, and some of those seasons are going to be difficult to get to, or get through, I should say. And that is what we're describing when we say suffering or struggle. Now, of course, the pain is optional, right? The pain is optional. If you choose to say, you know what, I can struggle through this, but I'm choosing not to feel pain, that you're able to do that. That's possible. But I just want to make it clear that in this, I'm going to use struggle or suffering interchangeably, I should say. All right. So the struggle or the suffering, it's unavoidable. But what I wrote here is the question we should be asking ourselves is, for what purpose am I suffering? For what purpose, right? Because the suffering becomes endurable or even desirable when it stands for something, right? And I know I use the gym a lot of times as an example because it's one of the easiest ones. But like when you're in the gym and let's say you're on the treadmill and you start feeling, your lungs a little bit because you're starting to get up to that point where you're losing breath, you're working your cardiovascular, you're doing cardiovascular exercise. Once or if you're doing, let's just say, push-ups, and you start feeling the burn. I was in the gym this morning. Usually after a certain amount of reps, you start feeling the burn in the muscles that you're working. At that point, that pain, quote unquote, or as we would say here, the suffering or the struggle, it becomes endurable only because you're working for something greater than that moment, right? You're pushing yourself to work for something greater than that moment, right? That's why I say, exercise is actually, when you go to the gym, it's actually a mental exercise before it is a physical one, even though it's obviously a physical exercise. It helps your mind more than it helps your body, in my opinion. And my point is that once we know it's not for nothing, it's for something specific, once we know it stands for something, it makes it, as I wrote down, endurable or even sometimes desirable. Sometimes people say, I love the burn, I love the pain, I love it because I know I'm getting better. I know I'm getting one step closer to where I want to be. And so he goes on here by giving some examples and stories of people who have endured great suffering, but have been happy to do it and said, I would do it again if I had to. Why? Because their suffering stood for something and they were happy to suffer for it, right? And so the idea here is, what is the purpose of your suffering? So if you are going through a struggle right now, or when you do go through your next struggle or your next point of suffering, the thing that's going to get you through it is answering the question, what is the purpose of this? What is the actual purpose of this suffering? And if you can have a good purpose behind it, it'll be a lot easier for you to get through. Like it says here, it could be something that you desire. All right. So he talks about personal values, and this is how we can put the meaning behind the struggle, right? Personal values, they're a metric by which we measure ourselves, right? You might have a personal value of honesty, for example. That would be a metric that you measure yourself by. How honest am I? Or how much integrity do I have, right? These are personal values. But what he says here is that our value systems determine the nature of our problems. Okay, so if we have a problem, which is also known as a struggle, which is also known as suffering in this regard, the question is, what type of problem is this based on my value system? So what value system have I chosen is the first question, right? And then what line am I drawing from this value system to this particular problem? So let me give you an example, right? If I value loyalty, and me personally, I'm sometimes even loyal to a fault, But like, let's say I value loyalty, right? And I'm loyal so much that it's becoming a problem. Like I'm struggling through it, right? Let's say, it's becoming a problem for me because I'm being loyal to somebody and I'm taking the heat for something they did, but I'm keeping my mouth shut. So I'm still because I'm staying loyal to them. And now it's a burden on me. So this is a struggle. Now I'm suffering because of my loyalty to a particular person. Okay. Excuse me. So at that point, I can still get through it based on my value of being loyal, right? I can say, you know what? I'll take it. I don't care. I'm loyal to a fault and I'm happy with that. And if I could go through it again, I'd do it 1,000 times more, right? I could even desire the struggle of being loyal. I could even say, you know what? Bring it on. I'm happy to suffer for that, right? But that's because I value being loyal. If I did not value being loyal, I would be like, forget that. I don't care about being loyal. I'm not going through the suffering for nothing because I don't value being loyal. So it would be for nothing, right? So that's how we draw that getting through the suffering. That's how it's drawn to our value systems, right? But here's the thing. Oftentimes we don't create our own value systems intentionally. Oftentimes we just adapt value systems. We've spoken about this on this channel multiple times. We just adopt, I should say, value systems from other people, right? It's just been handed down to us. It's just our default. It is, oh, well, I like this or I value this because of this, or I want this because of this. Or maybe life happens and it just shapes your value system in a way that you haven't even considered, right? So the problem is we don't sit down and intentionally create these value systems. And when you don't intentionally create the value system, what happens? You end up living a life of useless, pointless struggle, right? Because you don't even know why you value that. You value something that you don't even know why you value it. You didn't even really intentionally choose to value it, and now that value is attached to the current struggle, and now the struggle is that much worse because of the fact that you don't even really value the thing that you value. You know what I mean? It's almost like, let's say I didn't choose loyalty as a value. It just it was a thing. I was growing up and people were saying, being loyal is the best thing you can do, and I never questioned it. And so I just kept going and stayed with it. And then I turn around and I'm now in a struggle because I'm loyal to a fault, and I'm questioning, why the hell am I even doing this? And it's harder to get through that particular struggle or that particular suffering because I don't even know why I'm even loyal in the first place, right? So where we go wrong oftentimes is either we just adopt a random value system, right? Or what happens is we have shitty values, right? We just have shitty values. So he actually goes through a bunch of what he calls in this book, shitty values. Shitty values. He goes through 4 of them. He says, shitty value number 1 is pleasure, right? If you value pleasure, that's a trash value. He uses example, obviously extreme example of a drug addict. He says, ask any drug addict how that's going for them, valuing pleasure, right? Valuing pleasure is like, that's an instant gratification thing. We all know that valuing pleasure is not going to get you to where you want to be in life. Pleasure is the byproduct, right? Pleasure is the byproduct of the good value system, right? So he calls it right out. He says, number 1, pleasure, shitty value. Says number 2, valuing material success. He says that is another shitty value, material success. He makes an example. He says, obviously, if you're living on the street I think he said in India, an extra $10,000 a month is going to obviously change your life, right? Or $10,000 a year, I think he said. $10,000 a year extra $10,000 a year is going to change your life. But he said at a certain point, once you have enough money to take care of yourself and take care of the people around you, an extra $10,000 a year is not going to actually do anything for your life. It really actually won't improve your quality of life much more than it already is, as long as you get past a certain threshold. So he talks about material success. Remember, if you want more money, usually it's because you don't have enough to live comfortably right now. But once you do have enough, the material success has diminishing returns. All right. And then he says, number three, shitty value number three, always being right. Valuing always being right. What I always say is, when you're right, that's it. It's done. It's finished. You got your reward. You were right. You don't learn anything. You don't change anything. You don't become better. You don't do anything. When you're wrong, that's the beginning. When you're right, that's the end. Right? So if you just value being right all the time, good luck in growing. Good luck in becoming better, and good luck in influencing other people in the right direction. Right? So he says always being right is something that a lot of humans value, sometimes without even realizing it, but always being right is a shitty value to have. Okay. And then number four, he says, is staying positive. Staying positive. He says constant positivity is a form of avoidance, not the solution to the problem. He says constant positivity is a form of avoidance, not the solution to the problem. Should we always continue to stay grateful and exercise gratitude? Of course. Of course we should. But to deny reality when things are happening, I mean, in the book, he gives 3 examples. He says, he goes, I think one, he says, so what if your husband cheated on you with your sister? At least you know who to love and who not to love, or at least you know who's loyal to you and your family. He gives an example of that. He goes, so what if your child has throat cancer? At least you could save on college moving forward. He's obviously, embellishing this, but my point is that he's saying that positivity, staying positive all the time in the face of any situation that comes towards you, is not dealing with reality. It's avoidance of the real problem, and you're not likely to find a solution if you're always trying to find the good in everything. So he says those 4 things are all bad values to have. Now, what he also says in this book is that these bad values on their own are bad values, but everybody wants to experience pleasure. Everybody wants to experience material success. Everybody wants to be right sometimes, and everybody wants to be able to be positive. So what he says is these on their own are bad values to have, but if you have good values, these are the byproduct of your life. You live your life with good values, then you will experience pleasure. You will experience material success. You will be right most of the time, and you will always be able to see the good and the positive stuff without actually having to be delusional and say, yeah, there is no category 5 hurricane today. Everything's all right. And so what if the roof flew off? We needed a new one anyway. So what does he say good values are? Well, he uses 3 characteristics to describe good values. Number 1, reality-based. It's based in reality. It's not something that's absolutely unrealistic. All right. It's not a superstition. It's not something that that you can't really you can't really obtain. It's based in reality. That's a good value to have. Okay. Number 2, he says it's socially constructive. So it's good for you and the people around you. All right. And then number 3, it's immediate and controllable. So I can actually control it. And he gave a great example. Honesty. Honesty would be a good value. You can control it. It's based in reality. You're being honest with you and the world around you and your interactions with it and the people in it. And it's socially constructive. It helps to be honest instead of to be manipulative or lying or misleading or deceiving people. All right. Now, what does he also say is an example of a bad value? Well, he says popularity. If you value popularity, first of all, it's not reality based because you have no idea really what you might not be the most popular person. Maybe there's 5 more popular people than you that are there, right? You can't control it either because you can't control what people say about you or think about you. Number 1, it's not your business. Number 2, it's uncontrollable. Only they can control what they think and what they say. You might be able to influence, but you cannot control it. And it's not immediate in that regard. And then number 3, it's actually socially deconstructive. It's not socially constructive. It's not actually helping you or the people around you. All right. So he says, honesty, good value as an example, popularity equals bad value as an example. But the idea here, guys, is not really to tell you what values that you should have. My point that I'm sharing this with you guys is just intentionally choose your values. Go out there and sit down and say to yourself, what do I value and why? And is this a good value to have or not? And if it's not, chuck it. And if it is a good value to have, then double down on it and be intentional with it. Because then when life's, right? When life starts lifing, you'll be able to get through that struggle. And sometimes you might even find desire in that struggle. You might even find desire in that suffering because it's in line with your value systems, and that's going to allow you to get through it. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody being on here today. Go and be great. Greatness is a choice, and it's the choice that you make every moment of every single day. Happy Monday to all of you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
In the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker. Somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy punching Johnny Walker. Somebody tell the police they just can't stop us. Oh, when me choppers them. 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 Rags with me, flags with me, rags with me, flags with me, rags with me, flags with me. Yo, spin your rags in the air like a chopper. Wave your rags like a helicopter. Spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Round and round like a helicopter. Spin your rags in the air like a chopper. Wave your rags like a helicopter. Spin your rags in the air like a chopper. Hi, choppers fly, helicopters. We drunk cause we drink like a fish in the water. So high is like the world spinning faster. Dripping with sweat but it don't really matter. The music making me ball out. We see ladies and we call out. Them girls and them whining all out. Look a fight in the back, them brawl out. What? Me no business about that. Girls on me mind, so me thinking about that. Woman in the place, so me hunting for that. Bumpers in me face, so me on the attack. Just give me Henny, yo, give me Stag. No racial thing, white oak, Johnny Black. Oh gosh, I gotta catch a jet lag. 1919 does have me feeling high. Like a helicopter, spin out your rags in the air like a chopper. Hennessy